Hello, friends and fellow adventurers. Thank you once again for joining me, or if this is your first time, welcome and thanks for clicking on the video. We are Rolling Solo RPG, and today we are going to be doing our Session 15 video on Zargo's Tale. Now, you may notice, unlike basically every single other YouTuber out there, I don't pester you with subscribe and like. Because we're all adults here, we know what YouTube is, and if you don't know what YouTube is, then me telling you that would be pointless anyway. So if you like it, you'll click it. If you don't, you'll probably not get this far. So, with that said and out of the way, I will give a quick recap, and then we will jump straight back into the action, because last episode 14, which I had to divide into two parts because the fight took up a lot more time than I intended it to. The end of the fight, we just took the scissors and cut it right there because Zargo came to her house to wait on her allies to meet her here in the evening. She dilly-dallied around her house a little bit, and then she decided she needed to go to the bathroom. She opened the door of the bathroom, and she could not open it fully. So after a few pushes and a weird groan from the other side of the door, she backed up and come barreling out of that bathroom, busting down the wall and the door and everything, is a large-sized zombie brute. Zargo rushed to the door, grabbed her sword and shield, and began fighting this monstrosity. And just as luck would have it, when she was getting hit, her shield broke in her arms, shattering to pieces on the ground, with another crushing blow bringing her down to 3 hit points. 4 hit points, I guess. I thought it was 3. Either way, very low hit points. Her eyes began to glow and her curse activated once more. And as this happened, her friends, hearing the commotion outside, came rushing in. Vega, with a very precise arrow, fired. And Brack, running through a little bit of a failed attempt. That was Brack's first actual combat scenario. He threw his star knife, and it kind of just skittered across the ground, but he only had one turn that round because Vega, as always, well, actually, before Vega finished the fight, Zargo swirled fire around her in a 10-foot aura and grew a ball of fire in her hand and thrust it into the zombie with a sizzling, smelly, successful hit, followed up by Vega cutting off the right leg, I believe this time. Actually, it's normally left leg, because that D6 likes to roll a 5. Cutting off the right leg of this zombie, taking it to 0 hit points, sending the zombie crashing into the wall between this living room and Zargo's bedroom. But we left. Zargo is still in the middle of her cursed state. Her eyes are glowing, and her allies around her now stand and face a large, fortified orc who does not have control of her own body. So what are we going to do? I believe, first and foremost, Brack is going to walk his way around the fire to make it over to Vega so he can ask,
Vega, what is going on with Zargo? I have never seen this before.
Tell you what, let's actually ask. I'm just going to leave it at a Chaos Factor 5. That way I can get used to everything, and eventually I'll go back to adjusting the Chaos Factor between scenes. But for right now, it's just a Chaos Factor 5. So, on a nearly impossible, has Brack ever seen anything of this sort? 95 extreme. No. He has not.
I have never seen anything like this before,
Vega replies. I have only seen it one other time. Just a few days ago, me and Zargo were fighting our way in those sewers. And once again, she took one too many hits. And her eyes glue just like that. But the fire, that is new. It took her a while to calm down last time. I tried talking her down, but it was to no effect. but it may be worth another try. Zargo, if you can hear us, the fight is over. You can relax. So I'm thinking somewhere deep inside Zargo does hear her, but last time I did this, I'm pretty sure I did it this way, and if I didn't, this is the way I'm going to do it moving forward. She, Zargo, is going to have to make a will save to break herself out of this curse once it takes over. And I'm going to set this pretty high, and as time goes by, I'm going to progressively lower the DC, making it easier. But I'm going to start out with a DC of 20, and she only has a +4 for her will save, so it's going to be a 16 or higher. It's going to be a pretty tough roll. So on the first try, is Zargo able to break out of this cursed state? Natural 1. Natural 1. Not only... Alright, I kind of had a pre-plan in my head of maybe how this could go, depending one way or the other. And that natural 1 has told me exactly what's getting ready to happen. Not only is she unable to break out of her cursed state at this moment, the swirling fire around her grows in intensity. The small little sparkling embers become greater balls of fire.
Vega, I do not think it is wise to stay in here. If she is unable to be consoled, then perhaps we should stand back.
That sounds like a sound plan. Make for the door. But we will not just leave her here. So they make their way at least over to the door, and outside of it, they leave the door open, staring at Zargo. The flames growing in intensity, almost like a vortex of fire around her. It is now beginning to catch the carpets and the drapes and the bits of broken fragments from the walls on fire. Vega turns to Brack and says, Brack, you stay here. Watch her. Try to calm her down. I'm gonna go get help. I see a fire starting, and if we don't act soon, this whole entire apartment complex could go up. I will return. Brack just kind of shrugs his shoulders, and he steps into the doorway. Vega takes off down the stairs and off into the dusk light. Brack is going to attempt once more to try to console her. I'm going to let him do a warfare lore check to try to calm her down, because he's remembering something from back in his days as a field medic out there on the world wound. Sometimes the soldiers would come back completely delirious and enthralled with rage, and there was a way of calming them down. You just have to attack their psyche from the inside.
Zargo, if you can hear me, you can fight this. Just follow my voice. Come back this direction. Zargo.
And now inside Zargo's mind, we see a swirling fire vortex. She is going to attempt one more will saving throw. We're going to bring it down to an 18 this time with a +4. Ooh, a 6 and a 4 is only a 10. That was not enough. Zargo is unable to make her way mentally through this fire. The apartment is beginning to go up in flames. The small bits of furniture are beginning to ignite and engulf themselves in flames. Brack once again tries to plea to Zargo.
Zargo, I know you can hear me. I may not know you, but I can tell just by your look. You are strong. You can fight this. Push through the fire. Do not fear it.
Brack is going to get his warfare lore roll on this. I meant to do this last round, I guess, technically. But I kind of forgot because I'm trying to decide how this is going to go anyway. But I'm going to give him, if he gets a 14 or higher, then he's going to give her a +2 on her check. A 2, that wasn't enough. His words somehow are just not reaching her internal mind. Once again, Zargo's going to attempt. It's going to be a 16 this time with her +4. 4 and a 4 is an 8. Man, she just cannot break free of this. Her apartment is beginning to go up. Brack thinks about maybe he could go in and grab her, but she is so covered in flames he would burn up before he even got to her. The fire begins to spread to all parts of this apartment. Hopefully Vega comes back soon. Hopefully Zargo can break out of this. Alright, I'm thinking Brack is going to do something foolish. He is going to run in through the fire and the flames he carries on into the room. And he's going to grab Zargo. And I'm going to give him a D6. I'm going to give him... This place is very on fire. I'm going to give him a D8 of fire damage for running in here. And he's going to grab onto her. 6. He's going to take 6 points of fire damage. The flames burning his legs and his arms, starting to singe his clothes. His scaly reptilian skin, already dry, is beginning to crack. He grabs Zargo by the collar of her metal chest piece, and he shakes her.
Zargo, you must break it.
Ooh, 11 and a 4, that's a 15. He is able to give her a +2 on her roll, and this time down from a 16 to a 14. She's going to get a +6 to her roll. A 13! Man, this game hates me. I'm trying to give her everything she can. Seeing no other option, Brack, being apparently this grand, heroic man that he is just gonna pull Zargo out. So he's gonna have to do reposition. So he's gonna try to just pull her with him. So he's gonna have to make an athletics check against Zargo's fortitude, but I'm gonna give him a +2 because she's just staying there. She has a really really good fortitude, unfortunately. But she's a big girl, so it kind of makes sense. It's going to be hard to move her without her willing. So a 16, or a +6 for him. On his athletics roll, that's a 19. That is going to be enough, because he only had to beat a 19. He is able to grab her by the collar and drag her out. But he is only able to move. Let me get some of this fire out of the way so I can actually click on her. Heroes. He's only able to move her 5 feet each time. And he's going to take another D8 of fire damage for that. 3 more points of fire damage. As he is trudging his way towards the door, pulling this large orc woman heavily plated.
Zargo, work with me.
Alright, she's going to get another chance. This is going to be a 12 now. With just her +4. Wow, man, she is unable to break out of this. She needs new dice. I don't think that dice has rolled over a 10 this entire time. Brack with an athletics check. 6 and a 4 is not going to, or a 6 and a 6 is not going to be enough. I'm going to give him 5 feet of movement anyway because he's being a hero and these dice are being really stubborn. So they are able to move another 5 feet towards the door. She is still swirling in flame around here, but at least he can get her out of this area. Zargo with a 10. Oh my... 5 and a 4 is 9. What is happening? Oh my gosh. All right, Brack with another athletics. If he succeeds, I'm going to give him 10 feet of movement. But he has to beat a 19. Man, these odds are just so against my heroes right now. It is frustrating. But that's why we roll the dice, and this scene is getting very tense. I'm getting tense. He has her at the doorway. He has his feet out. He can at least catch his breath. Ooh, I forgot to make him take, of course, 8 more points of fire damage. He's below half health now. But he is out of the burning building. He is still within her burning aura. Zargo with a DC 8 this time. With her +4, I'm sure she's going to roll a 1. Wow, finally, of course. Zargo is able to break free as Brack is just pulling her out of her front door. She comes to, and as her eyes, the glow begins to dim, and her normal eyes begin to open, the fire begins to dissipate around her. But this building is still engulfed in flames. And that also means they're going to be unable to check out the zombie body to see if there's any evidence on it, which I'm sure there would have been. The fire is even starting to spread outside of the door now and catch this second story walkway on fire. Alright, Vega's not actually in the scene, even though I have her standing there on the stairs. Alright, speaking of Vega, is Vega returning with help right now? I'm going to say 50-50. Is Vega right here with some help? 50-50, that's a 29. Yes, finally! As Zargo's eyes kind of come to, and Brack is still pulling on her. He doesn't realize she's woken up yet, well, until the fire begins to dissipate.
Zargo. Zargo, are you back? Let's get away from this place. It'll be coming down shortly.
What happened? Venice, why are you here? Why is my apartment on fire?
There is no time to talk. Run, There is no time to talk. Run, Zargo.
And they both flee down off of the staircase and away as they see Vega coming up over the kind of little bit. I'm thinking there's like a little bit of a hill, and Vega's just running up over it, and behind her are a few mages, which is kind of like their fire safety in this place. So the mages are running behind her. She stops to talk to Zargo and, well, Brack, but Vinith to them because they don't know his name is Brack yet. The wizards rush by and they rush up and they start using their icy blasts, everything they have in their spell books to get this fire subdued before it catches neighboring houses on fire. Vega looks at Zargo. Zargo, you're back. Do you realize that what you've done, Zargo?
No, Vega. Last thing I remember, a zombie came barreling out of my bathroom, breaking down my door. I ran and grabbed my shield and sword, and I began fighting it. I got a couple of hits in, and it hit me, and that was the last thing I remember.
Well, that must have been about the time me and Vinith came in through the door. We saw you with your shield broken at your side, so we hesitated not a second, and we jumped in the fray. Vinith seemed to hold himself well. I was able to get a couple good blows in, and we downed
the zombie. But as soon as we came to the door, a swirling vortex of flame, small at first, was beginning to swirl around you. Your eyes were glowing like the other night in the sewers. I called out to you, but it did nothing. Your flames grew stronger. They began to set the place ablaze. Me and Venice ran out the door. I told him to do what he could for you while I fetched the fire mages, well, the fire protection mages. It seems you were successful, Venice.
I do not believe I was successful. I tried many times to talk Zargo out of it. I used some tricks that I learned in the field when some of the soldiers were hard to talk to. But Zargo was too far gone. So without any other options, I ran in and pulled her out.
About this time, both Zargo and Vega kind of notice that Brack's skin is very charred in places. He has blisters beginning to grow on both his arms, his shins and his feet that are always exposed just because, I mean, it's hard to find boots for a lizard folk, huge giant clawed toes. His beautiful overcoat that he wears and his many jewelries, because he carries himself very well. He's a very well dressed man. It's singed and charred in every stitch. It's barely hanging on. Venice, you pulled me out of the fire while I was on fire. I don't know how to thank you. If I'd had been in there, I don't know what could have happened. I don't know how I have no burns on me. Here's the thing, does Zargo have burns on her, actually? I mean, I don't think necessarily that her aura around her would hurt her, because maybe somehow it just knows that it's her, but the fire that she started, like, outside of the aura, everything else that was on fire, would that have burned her? Or does she just kind of, like, while she's in that state, have some sort of fire immunity? I'm going to say it's very likely. Does Zargo have burns on her from the other fire sources? Very likely. It was 77. On a very likely is a no. Zargo does not. Zargo has no burns. Well, maybe it was the armor, or just pure luck, but I seem to be burned free. Venice, I don't know how to thank you.
Please, do not worry about it. My wounds will heal. But unfortunately, it just occurred to me that I was caught in the moment and forgot to retrieve my star knife. So it is somewhere in that blaze. No matter. I have others.
I think Vega probably says something along the lines of, well, Venice, that was very brave of you, but foolish. It shows that you are trustworthy and caring. Those are good qualities to have in a party member.